And so I just saw it last night. I wish they were doing it right now. A bunch of buzzards were lined up here, about 15 of them. The thermal had caught on the edge of this tree line, and the lower ones were further upwind towards the front of the trees, and the higher ones were further downwind. And there was even a hawk way at the top, a couple 100 feet up. Next best thing is you see a buzzard circling in the thermal. That's really good. Buzzards, when they see a thermal, they have some different motivations, so I'll cover that. But they will penetrate over, they'll fold their wings back to penetrate better. That's their better penetration mode. And then when they hit the thermal, they'll put their wings out far, they'll stretch their fingertips, their wingtips, and then they'll start a circle. And depending on where you live, they circle different directions. Our ones around here always circle whichever way works best for them. I haven't noticed a preference, but I've heard different birds have preferences. And then they'll drift downwind. And the tricky thing with buzzards is they don't stay in thermals super long unless they're looking to migrate or really go somewhere. They usually are trying to stay relatively close to the ground so that they can smell the dead things. And so they don't get super high typically unless they're going somewhere. And so you'll see them, particularly, I see them about 6 p.m. out here. They'll all get into a big group. And it's sort of like the last thermal of the day. That's what I think of. And they're going to get back to wherever their house is. And so you'll see them group up and go really high and then scatter. And then when they migrate down south, it's really fascinating. I saw about 75 in a thermal way off to the south here. And they all grouped up, again, duskish time, and took off. And then if the weather's changing, you'll see them group up too and use the last thermal. One time I was out here, and I didn't realize at the time, but there was a front coming, and a big wall of clouds was coming. And I saw all the buzzards who'd just been hanging out all grouped together and get in this one thermal and take off. And it was just amazing. And I realized that was the last thermal of the day. And they could see off on the horizon these clouds coming. And they knew this was going to be the last thermal of the day. So they took full advantage of it. And that bag's gonna, I guess it's going. You get it, Daniel? So they could see off on the horizon that this cloud formation was coming. Okay, so that's buzzards. Okay, there's other birds that also use thermals. The smaller birds, the swallows, and a bunch of the smaller little darty birds will use thermals. And what thermals do is when they're coming up off the ground, they'll pick insects up, and they'll concentrate those insects. And so the birds really like to use those and you'll see them circling. And so those are really good indicators of particularly low thermals, is when those birds are picking up dust or bugs in the thermal. Most likely they were thermaling. I don't see them anymore.
Big gaggle over there. Yeah. Right over the white.
Oh, way over there. Yeah, that's a thermal. And if you can't see them, that means you might want to go see your optometrist. To the right side is the stronger part of that one, and then the lower part of it, and off to the right is the higher part. And see how fast they're moving? They are moving crazy fast because it's so windy, but also because there's good lift.
And they're fortunate to have dynamic airfoils.
Yes.
They can adjust.
They adjust, and it's something I'll talk a little bit more about later is your performance with speed changes and with ballast. And they don't ballast, they don't have any extra weight, but they do have that variable geometry. They can change their camber, but they can also change their wingspan and how much frontal area they have. And if they want to be a rock, they can pull their wings all the way in. But they don't touch the ground unless they want to. So they're good workers. And then they also don't want to flap. That's a waste of energy. And they worked hard eating that carrion. They don't want to waste it by flapping. And you'll see the eagles around here will thermal some. The juveniles, the younger ones, the ones that don't have their bald head yet, are terrible at thermaling. And so you see them flapping a lot more. And that's something that they learn as they get older, how to do that better. Hawks are a big one around here. They like the thermal. They're looking for something on the ground sometimes, so they have some different motivation, but they also like to go places. Osprey too, out here. And then the seagulls are another good one. They'll actually go up in large groups, and particularly towards the lake and in downtown, they hang out a lot downtown because of where all the garbage is. So you'll see them. Crows, occasionally you'll see them in a thermal, not too often. And then some of the littler birds will thermal as well. I don't see too many falcons out here, but occasionally we'll see the falcons doing that.